Have you ever wanted to live as a dog instead of a boring human? Well, Dog's Life is the game for you, as you get control of Jake, an American foxhound, and get to live out your fantasy of having no taxes, not having to pay for food, peeing on people that annoy you, and solve a dog kidnapping scheme. You know, the usual dog things. Developed by Frontier Developments and published by Sony Computer Entertainment, it was released in 2003 in Europe and 2004 in North America by Hip Games. The game starts with Jake telling us about how good his life is, and one of the perks he lists is
What's this?
Yeah, this game has a pretty childish humor, but I suppose it makes sense considering the game's 8 rating. We also get introduced to Daisy, a Labrador who's supposed to be our love interest, but she's not really impressed with Jake's flatulence, so we'll have to find a different way to impress her. Suddenly we hear some commotion and find out that Daisy's being kidnapped. We try to intimidate the kidnappers, but we end up caught as well. However, they leave the trapdoors open, which allows us to escape after we get a short cutscene with our kidnappers. They are the most stereotypical henchman duo. Wayne, the short one who is angry all the time due to his dog allergy, and Dwayne, the tall, strong, but dumb one. They talk about getting more dogs in Lake Minniewahwah, which is gonna be our next main hub. The game has 3 main hubs total: Clarksville, your typical rural town, Lake Minniewahwah, Tourist Spot, and Boom City, which is your stereotypical big city. Each hub has 6 smaller locations except for Boom City, which only has 5. Also get used to being told over and over where the next main hub is, as plenty of missions will have NPC mention them, with Jake remembering that he has to save Daisy. The main objective of the game, aside from, well, saving Daisy, is to collect bones. Most of them are given to us by random NPCs after helping with whatever problem they have, while the rest can be obtained by collecting scents while in smell-o-vision. By pressing triangle, we go in first person and can see the various scents. There are 9 different scents, but each area only has 4 to keep track of. The blue and violet scents are pretty similar to each other. Once you collect the first scent, the rest will appear for a limited amount of time, and you need to grab them all before time runs out. The purple scents are available in every location except for the last 2. They will earn a bone once you collect all 50. It sounds easy enough until you realize you can't see a scent unless you're close enough, and the purple scent is the same color as the scent coming off of every human, and you can see those scents from far away. Trying to get all of them in certain location with lots of NPCs is an experience. Because of this, as soon as you enter a new area, you will have to be in smell-o-vision until we got all of the purple scents at least, which is a shame since it means staring at a grayed out version of the map and missing out on certain cool camera changes that you get in third person. The other 6 scents unlock a minigame that you'll play against another dog from the area. Winning against them for the first time will let you control the dog, which will allow you to do things that Jake cannot do, like fit into a dog door or not slide on ice. Each minigame also gets easier if you have more bones than the other dog, as you will be faster than them. The green scent unlocks a race where you need to come in first, but also eat at least 50% of the treats that mark the racetrack. The orange scent will unlock a tug-of-war minigame where you mash circle until the middle of the rope goes over the red line. Cyan scent unlock a digging minigame where you walk up to marked spots and dig by mashing circle again until you get to the end of the line. Yellow scents unlock a pee minigame where you once again press circle in a marked spot to pee until you have enough points to win. The pink scents unlock a tag minigame where you simply have to catch up to the other dog before times run out. This is the easiest minigame as you usually just finish them in like a few seconds. Finally, we have the red scents which unlock the Doggy Do minigame. All you need to do is copy the other dog's moves for 3 rounds. In the 3rd round, the dog will show you a special move that can be used to beg for treats from other NPCs, or to just break the rules of reality. Exploring the various maps to find sand, stray bones, or missions isn't very difficult. When in third person, Jake will move with hand controls, but because of how large and open the maps are, it's not a big issue most of the time. There are some spots where the controls and the camera fight against the geometry, but usually it's in small places like balconies and stairs, and going in first person will fix it, since you have more freedom of movement, and it can also help you make jumps or throw things in certain spots. But back to the story. After we wake up, we get some tutorials as a kid challenges us to rage, which we end up losing. He then challenges us to follow him around until he gives us a bone. We then go to his grandpa, who will give us a bone after we do some basic tricks. On the way, we also meet this musician guy who lost the batteries to his amp, and when we bring them back, he will give us a bone and a little musical show. After that, we head on to the Watermill. Here we meet Billy Bob, a lumberjack who isn't exactly all there. He complains about the lost axe and mentions that he got hit by a tree once, which explains a lot.
I love my axe.
Regardless, we find his axe, beat the Dalmatian, and make him help us catch a swan who stole a stray bone. And we also help out a scientist recover the pieces of his broken rocket. And he ends up giving us 2 bones after some encouragement.
Very well. Have 2.
Going back to the farm and further up on the road, we get to a crossing. Going to the right, we reach the big field. Here we help out a military man fix a scarecrow by barking at any crow before they poop on him. After that, we get the border collie to herd the sheep, as they will not stay in their pen if Jake is the one doing it. Going past the field, we reach the chicken farm, where we help out the farmer chase off a fox and gather some newspaper clippings as we find out that Daisy isn't the only dog that's been kidnapped by Wayne and Dwayne. Back to the farm, turning to the crossing on the left, we reach the village houses. Here we help a kid deliver a message to his friend with the help of their dog, help out a mom find their baby's lost toy, and help out a postman deliver mail by locking a loud dog in a garage. Just remember to let him out. Going further ahead on the road, we reach the town center. Here 2 kids will ask for some eggs to throw at the meat butcher so that we can sneak inside the shop and get a bone. After we do that, we're introduced to the dog catcher and his dog, Killer. They will pop up in various locations when doing certain missions or just throughout the story. And every time you will have a short chase with his dog, Killer. If you get caught, you simply lose a bone and awaken at the doghouse. And the bones will be hidden somewhere in the level, so getting caught isn't that big of a deal. Speaking of Killer though, we can actually control him in this level to scare a mean shop lady into giving us another bone. To get to Lake Minniewahwah, we have to get on the train, but Killer won't let us pass until we have at least 16 bones, which is pretty easy to do if you explore for a little bit and do at least some of the missions. Once we leave, we get a cutscene with Wayne and Dwayne, where we find out that they're working for Miss Peaches, the CEO of a cat foods company. We had some foreshadowing before this, as we hear a radio broadcast where she's being interviewed about her new cat food, which is foreshadowing for what's gonna happen later on. At Lake Minniewahwah, we help out a cafe waiter chase off some pigeons with the help of the local dog, since he is not affected by ice physics. And we run again into the dog catcher when helping this little girl get her coat back. Though this chase is a bit easier than the others, thanks to the frozen lake having ice physics, which allows us to slide away from Killer. Speaking of frozen things, this game has a hidden stamina system, and the Lake Minniewahwah maps can be a bit of a chore if you don't know how to deal with it. Basically, if you get hurt or burn around for a while, Jake will get tired, which will make him lower his head and be unable to run. Generally, it's not an issue as getting washed or eating bones or food, though sometimes the food can be spoiled, which will just not help. The issue is that they made it so that the stamina depletes faster in colder areas, and food is pretty hard to come by if you don't know the maps very well. So get used to waddling around, scrounging for food, or just looking for the closest poodle parlor. When looking for the girl's coat, we have to head on to the ski slope. Here we have a snowball fight with some kids, and help out a girl beat the kid who stole the other girl's coat in a snowman making challenge. We also help out the guy in charge of the chair lift control get his hat back with the help of the local dog, who ends up giving us a death stare when we give it back. Back to the cafe, and further down the road we get to the high street. Well, we help out a kid get his RC helicopter back with the help of the local husky who isn't affected by gravity as he walks the slope roof that Jake will slide off of. We also meet a guy working some radio equipment, though he seems unable to send his message. Turns out the radio antenna up in the mountaintops is swarmed by birds, so we have to bring out a bird feeder to make them leave their perch. On the mountaintops, we also help out a man stuck behind the door as someone delivered a heavy box right in front of said door while he and his dog were inside. Technically, you need the dog's help to push this log, but if you position yourself correctly, Jake will simply nail the jump to get through. The man asks us to find his brother who went up the mountain slide and hasn't been back in a while, but he also warns us of the falling rocks in that area. And this level is the most annoying one in the whole game because of this. If you even touch a rock, you'll spawn at the beginning of the map, which is great if you finish all your tasks in here, but it sounds if you accidentally run into one, well, you're not done yet. After some struggle, we reach the top and help out the brother with the help of the Saint Bernard. He gives us his hat where he has drawn a map to his location. We then bring the hat to the man and we get our next bone. Finally, after mountain and back in the high street, follow the road up to the hotel. Here we control the pincher as she's tasked to catch 10 rats and chuck them into trash cans. Classy. We also meet a pianist who is obviously a gay stereotype, and we help him find his 4 wigs. As soon as we have at least 51 bones, we can board the train to Boom City. We also find out that Miss Peaches wants all the dogs Wayne and Dwayne collected sent to the dog pound. In Boom City, we meet the sheriff who tells us about the sleeping bandit. After some exploring, we find him and have to sneak around as he will shoot us if he wakes. We grab his mask and bring it back to the sheriff who will follow you to the building where he's hiding. We get his German Shepherd to open the door for him and get our well-deserved bone. Heading to the city center next, where we find the accomplice of the sleeping bandit. We need to distract him and then quickly grab the bag of money that he is guarding. However, Jake is too slow, so we need the help of the Greyhound to grab the goods and bring them back to the sheriff. We also find a bar where we see a man standing outside, angrily complaining about having lost all his money thanks to the cheater. If we go inside, we will find the dog catcher, and after the chase, we can finally bust the cheater as we find an extra card deck on the floor. The other guy will get angry and then lead him away from the room, which allows us to grab the money and bring it back to the cheated man. Finally, we go to the park where we meet the musician from the farm. He apparently lost his music sheets and needs our help. In exchange, he gives us a bone and tells us that he will write a song about us. We also meet an old lady who had her kittens run away. With the help of the local dog, we get them all back and earn our next bone. Finally, we need at least 71 bones to get into the pound, and this is where we get the first tonal shift. The sky is red and the dead trees and grass make the place look more like a cemetery than a dog pound. We see Dwayne and Wayne get inside as the dog catcher talks about some big machine. And then we see some of the dogs who have helped us throughout the game locked in cages. The key of each cage is scattered throughout the map. After a while, the dog catcher and killer will see us and the chase will begin, but this one is much different. In every other chase, we still had the level's cheery music take away all fear, but this level doesn't really have music. It's mostly just creepy ambient noises. After running around and freeing every dog, the dog catcher will simply give up, saying that he wants to pursue his dream of being a game developer, but he still orders Killer to guard the building leading to the big machine. If we have at least 91 out of the 126 bones in the game, we can finally get to the final level of the game where we are told the truth behind the dog kidnappings.
Nice and clean, lean yet tender. She will make a soft and sensitive treat, sliced, diced, and mashed into a delicious pate by the big machine.
That's right, Miss Peaches wants to use dogs in her cat food, and the first one on the list is Daisy. We rush into the next room where we are face to face to the big machine. This game was rated 3+ in Europe, by the way. Anyways, to deactivate the big machine, all we need to do is run around, follow the arrows, and press buttons or pull levers to make sure Daisy isn't chopped, steamed, or crushed into cat food. We even chucked some wrenches into the machine just to be safe, and we did it! Daisy is safe, and she seems to have fallen in love with Jake thanks to his bravery. But before we can run back home, Miss Peaches jumps in with a shotgun, trying to get us both into the big machine. But Jake does what Jake does best. We get a fake out of these Peaches in a comically large can and... why is she going back?
Slicing, dicing, mashing. Miss Peaches is cat food.
Well, that was dark. With one last tunnel shift, we get a cheerful ending where Jake recounts what happened to some of the NPCs. Even Win and Wayne get a little happy ending. And that was Dog's Life. The most immature game with a not very dark ending. Honestly, I'm shocked this game didn't give me nightmares as a kid, because I clearly remember getting stuck because I couldn't figure out how to deactivate the big machine. But anyways, if you have any suggestion for a game I should review, or if you want to correct any mistake I might have made, feel free to comment, and if you like this video, please consider subscribing. Thanks for watching.